the question that would not die. For countless generations, humanity has lifted its eyes to the glittering tapestry of stars and whispered a single, timeless question that refuses to fade. A question older than language itself, older than the first spark of civilization. Are we truly alone in this vast and endless universe? Or does something, somewhere, beyond the silver veil of light, whisper softly back? From ancient tribes who carved constellations into the faces of stone, to wanderers who crossed endless deserts guided only by the moon's pale glow, to sailors who braved black oceans following the trembling shimmer of distant lights above, to philosophers who debated by candlelight about invisible worlds and unseen beings. This question followed us, a patient shadow cast across the centuries. It lived in the rhythm of campfire stories whispered under star-washed skies. It hid between the verses of forgotten myths and sacred songs. It echoed through temples, through early observatories, and later through the sterile hum of laboratories. A haunting refrain passed from one era to the next, drifting softly like starlight through the infinite dark. Science gave us probabilities, and with them, hope. Mathematics gave us models, elegant, delicate, and precise, whispering that the odds were in life's favor. Physics gave us theories, strange, beautiful, and often terrifying, describing worlds beyond imagination. But for all our brilliance, none gave us certainty. None offered proof. Until now. Just 120 light-years away. A distance so immense that even light, racing at the universe's own speed limit, would take more than a century to bridge the gap. Something extraordinary stirred. And yet, on the grand cosmic scale, that distance is but a single, fragile step. There, in the constellation of Leo, burns a quiet ember of a star, a modest red dwarf, faint yet steadfast against the endless black. Encircling that dim flame lies a world unlike any we have ever known. Its name is K218b, a planet veiled in mystery, a distant blue-green whisper drifting among the stars. Through the golden mirrors and infrared eyes of the James Webb Space Telescope, humanity caught its first true glimpse, not of rock, not of gas, but of possibility itself. What Webb revealed was more than mere data. It was a story written in the oldest language there is, the language of light. A tale so profound it sent ripples through every observatory, every laboratory, every dreaming mind on Earth. The skies of K218b were not barren. They were not silent. They were not lifeless like so many worlds before. Instead, they shimmered with a delicate chemistry, a cosmic symphony of invisible notes and radiant fingerprints, a spectrum etched across the fabric of starlight itself. There was water vapor swirling through warm clouds. There was methane, the faint breath of carbon, life's favorite companion. There was carbon dioxide, sculpted by unseen winds across alien skies. And then, hidden among those familiar signatures, came a whisper unlike any other. A molecule that did not belong to rock, to storm, or to chance. Dimethyl sulfide. On Earth, it is not born from fire or lightning. It is not carved by storms or sculpted by heat. It is created almost entirely by life, by the smallest drifters in our oceans, tiny phytoplankton exhaling it as part of their invisible rhythm. To find this same chemical suspended in the alien skies of K218b was beyond astonishing, it was revolutionary. It was as though another world had taken a breath, and the universe itself had exhaled an answer. In that instant, the search for life beyond Earth was no longer just a dream painted in science fiction, nor a hopeful equation scrawled on chalkboards. It became tangible. It became measurable. It became real. It became chemistry. It became biology. It became evidence written into light, a faint but undeniable signature whispering across the cosmos. And suddenly, the question that had haunted humanity for millennia felt a little closer to being answered. Not through faith or fantasy, but through science, perseverance, and the quiet patience of light. The answer written in light for the first time in our history. We were no longer merely asking if life could exist elsewhere. We were beginning to glimpse how it might. And K218b, as it turns out, is no ordinary planet. It belongs to a rare and wondrous class known as Hycean worlds. Planets wrapped in thick hydrogen atmospheres, perhaps hiding vast global oceans beneath veiled skies. Imagine a planet 2.5 times the size of Earth, with nearly 9 times its mass, orbiting close enough to its small star to keep its oceans alive and liquid. Neither a frozen wasteland like Mars, nor a raging gas giant like Jupiter, but something balanced, a cradle between chaos and calm. A world swathed in a gentle hydrogen blanket, shielding it from radiation, balancing its warmth, turning it into more than a mystery, a candidate, a sanctuary, perhaps even a home. Then came another revelation. Alongside dimethyl sulfide, Webb detected its chemical twin, dimethyl disulfide. On Earth, these gases rise only from the breath of living ecosystems beneath the sea. Finding both together, woven with water vapor and carbon compounds, was statistically extraordinary, a signal that could not be ignored. Scientists checked the data again and again, and finally, in quiet awe, whispered the word they had long feared to speak. Life. Yet this discovery was more than science. It was wonder itself, the rediscovery of our place in a universe larger than imagination. When a planet like K218b reveals fingerprints that should not exist without life, it doesn't merely challenge equations, it challenges us. For centuries we believed Earth to be unique, the solitary blue oasis in a cosmic desert. But now, across a gulf of 120 light-years, a distant world whispers the opposite. Life may not be rare at all. This realization stretches far beyond laboratories and telescopes. It seeps into philosophy, faith, and culture. It asks what it truly means to exist, and what it means to be known. Some scientists urge silence, fearing that contact might disturb a fragile alien biosphere, or expose us to dangers beyond comprehension. Others argue it is already too late. For more than a century, our radio waves have spilled into space, rippling outward like echoes on a vast, unseen sea. If someone is listening, they already know we are here. And even if they heard, communication would crawl across time. A message taking 120 years to arrive, another 120 to return. This is not conversation. It is a message through centuries, a legacy from humanity to the stars. When Webb's findings became public, the world ignited. Headlines blazed across screens. Social media erupted with hashtag K218b and hashtag AlienOceans. For a fleeting, brilliant moment, billions looked upward together, united by awe instead of divided by borders. Children asked about telescopes. Space agencies rewrote missions. Dreams once trapped in fiction began to feel like plans. Yet an older question returned, the Fermi paradox. If life is common, why the silence? Perhaps civilizations burn out too quickly. Perhaps intelligence is a fragile spark against eternity. Or perhaps silence itself is not emptiness, perhaps silence is survival. Even discovering microbes would change everything. It would prove that life can bloom beneath alien skies. But if we ever find something greater, a signal, a mind, a voice, then the silence of the stars may not be mystery but warning. K218b also reshapes how we define life itself. On Earth, life depends on oxygen, carbon, and water. But on K218b, hydrogen reigns supreme. Could life breathe hydrogen? Could photosynthesis bloom beneath a red dwarf's dim, ruby light? To answer, scientists study extremophiles, organisms that thrive in acid, in ice, under crushing pressure, or bathed in radiation. Once thought of as exceptions, they are now our guides, keys to imagining alien biology. And perhaps, just perhaps, we have already overlooked hints, strange meteorites, faint chemical traces, clues once dismissed as background noise. Before K218b, we looked outward with curiosity. After K218b, we look outward with responsibility. Religions revisit creation. Philosophers reconsider meaning. Teachers prepare to guide a generation that may grow up knowing we are not alone. Some respond with wonder. Others with fear. But none remain unchanged. Because K218b is more than a discovery. It is a mirror. It reflects who we are, who we were, and who we might yet become. For ages, we thought life was a lonely spark flickering in an endless night. Now, a new whisper drifts across the dark. Life may not be a miracle confined to Earth, but a pattern woven into the very fabric of the cosmos. And that whisper is not an ending. It is a beginning. A question reborn. Are we alone? Do we remain silent? Do we dare to reach out?